Today, we are yet again back with another special interaction with one of the prominent members of our community. Today, we have with us Dr. Indira Khurana, who is the CEO and founder of Laser Cosmetics and Pain Treatment Clinics. With a wide range of clinics all over the GTA, she is present here having a conversation with us today. A very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Before we start and talk about your glorious journey, why don't you tell us a little about your family and a little personal aspect?
Okay. My parents, uh, my daddy was in army, so we lived all over the places, sometimes in Kashmir, sometimes all over the places, but we settled in Roorkee now. So that's where I graduated from Roorkee IIT. I'm a PhD in physics from IIT Roorkee. And after that, I was invited to BITS Pilani as an assistant professor. So I was assistant professor in BITS Pilani, Birla Institute of Technology and Science, where I taught physics and electrical and electronics as well.
Oh, wow.
And after that, I have many publications, like research publications. I did almost 15 journals I have research publications in, and many international conferences I attended, presented my papers there as well. And then seeing my work, one of the US universities invited me to do research with them. So I was adjunct professor and research associate in Florida A&M University, associated with Florida State University.
So, I mean, from being a professor to being a writer and to being a researcher, and now being the CEO and the founder of your own company, how has the pages folded for you?
Okay, the thing is, ever since I was 11 years old, I still remember I was in 8th grade. I always wanted to be a doctor. That's it. I could only see me as a doctor. Wanted to be even neurosurgeon. Doctor was the only title I wanted with my name. So when I was in 11th grade, till 10th you have all the subjects,
Right.
Hindi, English, science, maths, everything together, biology. But in 11th grade, you have to choose the subjects.
One, yeah.
And in 11th, I usually never get sick, but before 11th grade, just for 2 weeks, somehow, I got fever and I couldn't go to school for 2 weeks. So when I go in grade 11, my teacher said, you cannot go in biology section, that is full, so you have to stay back in physics, chemistry, mathematics. That was my dream, was to do biology and be a doctor. But 2 weeks behind I was, and that section was full, so I had to stay back in engineering section. But again, I wanted to be a doctor. There was no other way. So I thought, how do I be a doctor now? Like, that's my whole passion. I like to treat people. I like to do the healing part. I like to communicate with people, connect with people. So in every summer holidays in my school time, I used to go to these hospitals because my dad was in army, so in army hospitals or in civil hospitals, and I would do volunteer work there. Just to that my soul, I think, is of a doctor.
You found peace there.
Yeah, so that was my like when I interacted with people, helped them, did the dressing for them, or talked to them, just uplifted them, when they're down. And that made me happy anyways. So, but I was in physics, chemistry, mathematics batch, which means engineering side now.
Yeah.
So I thought, now how do I be a doctor? So I did my bachelor's, I did my master's, but then I want to do a PhD now. In order to be a doctor, you have to be a PhD. And then nobody used to go in physics, so even when I wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon only. Like the things which people don't do, I wanted to just tap into that field. So then I said, okay, I'll do physics only. And I was in Roorkee. So Roorkee University was giving me admission in chemistry and mathematics, which I didn't want. So I told my dad, I want to go to Merit. and I'll get admission in. You send me to the boarding school and I will get first class. I promised him that what I want to do in physics only, then I'll come back to Roorkee. I wanted from Roorkee IIT the degree, but they were not giving me admission in physics for whatever reasons. Maybe I didn't have enough marks for them. So I went to Meerut to do my physics now. 60 boys and only girl.
Oh my God.
No, nobody wanted to go in physics, and even my professor said, like girls run away from physics. I said, I will not run away. And so I got first class. I promised my father. I said, get me admission there. Like he had to pay for my boarding and my fees. I said, if you send me there, I'll get first class and I'll never ask for money again. So, which I got the first class from there. And I wanted only degree from Roorkee IIT, nothing else. So I only sent one application and only in Roorkee, nowhere else. I mean, that was, I don't know, my confidence, or this is what I wanted. I wanted to be a doctor, neurosurgeon, which is past now, and then I want to be a doctor, but I want to be a doctor in physics only. So I come to Roorkee IIT, and my professor, like somebody said there's one opening there, and I applied there. I went to meet the professor, and he said, you're from Meerut, you'll have to qualify pre-PhD exam. I said, okay. 6 courses you have to qualify there. And he said, it is so difficult. We have only 2 months like before the session starts. And he said, if you can just qualify 1 exam out of 6, I'll consider you. I said, okay. So I got 2 papers qualified with highest marks instead of 1. I wrote 2. I chose to write 2, and I got both qualified. So he gave me a chance for an interview. Okay. In interview, there were like a board of directors sitting there. You have to speak in front of whole department. And they put me on the board. I wrote lengthy equations, and they kept asking me questions. They couldn't find even one fault. They told me to wait outside. Okay. After all the interviews, they called me again. Then they asked more questions, and I still qualified. But they did not give me scholarship that day, because they said, we know you qualified, instead of 1, you did 2 exams. You passed the interview, but because you're from Meerut and we don't know you, so we don't want to give you scholarship. I said, okay, no problem. He said, we still have 4 more papers to qualify. And after that, now this interview is cancelled now, so I'll have to do it all over again. So within another 4 months, I qualified all for pre-PhD, which is pre-PhD in Roorkee University. Your passing marks is only 33% if you can get it. Like you can't even reach there. It's that difficult. And I got 62s. I mean, they challenged me, said people cannot even qualify for, like if you can get 35, like they challenged me, if you can get in 35%, okay. I got it. Within 4 months, I qualified next 4 and pretty, above 60% marks. There was another interview now, and then you have to have a seminar in front of whole department. That I qualified, and then now there is an interview for scholarship. Again, like I cleared everything, and that day I was told that, okay, you got the scholarship, and your name is here. Everybody signed that my name is there, okay. And I was happy. I said, okay, I got the scholarship. Next day morning, I go, and then list has to be, posted on the board, like who got. I kept looking at my name. My name is not there. I went to my professor. I said, sir, my name is not there. He said, no, I signed, your name is there. I go, somebody else's name is there instead of me. Because sometimes, people, influential people, maybe they want one scholarship, and I didn't have any. I mean, I come only from army background, we are not business people. We don't have those influences, My daddy doesn't come to schools and he doesn't meet professors. If we can do it on our own, that's all it is, right? So my name was not there. That is the day I literally had tears in my eyes. And I said, I qualified everything first time, second time. First time I understand, because I was new, they don't know me, they want students from who they know, which is understandable. I didn't mind. But second time, there was somebody else who was from some other university. She just, instead of me, her name was there. Things happened, I guess. And I said to my professor, I said, sir, I told at home I got scholarship. And I've been coming here for 6 months, So he said, no, I cannot accept you. We only accept students who qualify for, they get only top of cream of he said, because it'll be expensive, then you'll leave halfway and you're a girl, you'll get married. So I said, all that is not an issue, sir. I will complete it. And he says, in 15 years in this field, no girl has submitted thesis. So I said, you can give me a chance. And he said, now, second time you didn't get the scholarship and I don't want to waste my time on you. I said, sir, can you please just give me a chance, like give me a cubicle to sit, like I need a chair and a table. I'll prepare whenever you have next qualifying exam. If I don't qualify that time, then I'll quit. I said, all I need is, like I said, you don't have to promise me anything. Like, all I need is just in one cubicle, if you give me permission to come to department every day. And he said, okay. 8 o'clock in the morning on the dot, I used to come. And students who got scholarship, they'll come at 10 o'clock. And I'll come every day, 8 o'clock. Leave at 8 o'clock and I'll do my work. Started preparing for, like whatever topic, I had to choose the topic. So I was preparing for that, like to present something. Another 2 months passed by, and every single day I used to come on the dot at 8 o'clock. One day, it was like a hurricane, kind of. I mean, we didn't know the word hurricane. There we get like rain, thunderstorm, hails, all that we hear. But this was more than that, very bad weather. And never ever university used to close. But still in that rain and stuff, I still reached at 8 o'clock. And I go there and I used to go on my cycle. I used to cycle, which I purchased with my own money.
Oh, wow.
And it was 6-7 kilometers away, my university. And I used to go cycle down there. And I was the only person who reached there. And I still started doing my work. And 10 o'clock, from 10 o'clock, head of the department came there. And he said, I just came to close the department. He came to check if somebody's stuck here. And he comes in my lab. He said, what are you doing here? I said, sir, doing my work here. And he says, where is everybody? There were 8 people more in that room. Everybody has a chair and a table. So I said, sir, nobody came. And he says, where do they come from? I said, they come from campus. He said, where do you come from? I said, I come from city, like across the canal, there is a river in between. So I said, I come from the other side. And he says, do you get scholarship? I said, no, sir. He said, what about them? I said, they all are getting scholarship. He said, but why didn't you get the scholarship? I said, sir, my name was there last time and it was taken out. He said, oh, that was you whose name was taken out. I said, yes, sir. He said, you're the only one who deserves a scholarship. I said, okay, sir. And he says, okay, today you can go home and I'll wait till the weather gets clear. And today you go home, but within next day when I come, I'm going to announce one scholarship, university level, on my personal level, and that scholarship will be for you, he said. But he said, again, we have to go through the process. You'll have to come for interview and all that. I said, okay, fine, sir. Another 2 months, I got the scholarship.
Finally.
Finally, did my PhD, got doctorate degree. Now I'm called a doctor. again, I wanted to still to be a doctor with the stethoscope in hand, and physics degree. I mean, it's the highest degree from Roorkee IIT, very prestigious. Prime Minister comes to give the degree on stage, which is quite nice actually. But only thing I felt bad about that degree, once my grandfather, he came home, my Nanaji, like my mom's father, and my uncle, my Mamaji, he said to my grandfather, "Oh, Indira is a doctor now, she can treat you now." So he had a little bit of kidney problem. He says, "See, your daughter is doctor now, she got a degree and she can treat you." And that day I felt really bad. I said, that degree is totally useless now. Like, I do high energy physics, means energy physics means upper atmospheric collision, hydrogen, helium bombarding. That can be used, like my research is being used in US Air Force and Army, which they use the data to operate those laser operated bunker buster bombs. It's a very high energy. But that is useless for a common man. You know what I mean? My degree is, if I say I'm a PhD in physics, is useless if I have to interact with day-to-day life, unless I'm in that laboratory, which does all this. I really, really felt bad, but I kept doing, this volunteer work and all that stuff. I used to always, whenever I had time, I'd go all the soldiers who come wounded, in different
Wars.
the wars or the casualties every day in the training. So I used to, always go have a round in the hospitals, talk to all the soldiers, officers, and give them hope. I kept doing that. And after US, went back to India, came back to Canada, then I came with my husband. He was in UBC, University of British Columbia, research associate. So as I came with him, but then again I went to US because I had still my visa there. And from there I wrote Young Women Scientist Award to come back here. That time I didn't have permanent residency. So Young Women Scientist Award is like you write a project here, and when you're under 35, they give you a scholarship which is $50,000 a year, plus you get a teaching position or something. I qualified here and they gave me immigration on my qualification basis. When I come here, I went to every university, they didn't have my field here. They said, oh, it's a very high energy field and we have hiring freeze for 2 years. They didn't have anything to offer to me, so I could not use my scholarship even. And that is the time I had to do something else. To do my taxes here, I had to find something to do. And I started doing this test marketing using this laser energy into a little machine I purchased and started doing test marketing. Like if I can do something, then I slowly built up from there. And my journey was not easy.
Definitely. If I look at your journey and being a South Asian girl myself, all the hindrances that you have mentioned, from being a girl to being ill treated at college to being subjected to favoritism. And I mean, you are definitely an idol for all the girls who are out there trying to pursue their dreams. But if I ask you, like, what was it that kept you going? Like every so many failures, so many one scholarship denied, second denied, and still you kept on going.
I mean, that's how it is. Like I don't see. I only applied in Roorkee University, so that's where I want the degree from. That's how I am. Like, if I want to be a doctor, I want to be a top doctor. I cannot. That's not me to be okay. If I didn't get to be a doctor, I should be a nurse now, or I should be something else in a health field. That is not acceptable to me. Either it's this or nothing. So that's why I wanted to be a doctor. Then I wanted to do PhD. Then I want to be a doctor. But then I could have chosen easy subjects to be a PhD. But then I chose the physics, and I chose physics, which nobody in 15 years nobody had submitted the thesis. when my professor said all the boys are here for 6 years, it takes minimum 6 years, and then you'll get married and go. I said, sir, I promise you, I won't get married in between, even though I could get many proposals.
But I mean, we're laughing at it right now, but this is a very deep rooted problem, if I say that women in India, they're expected to get married at
Yes.
there's an ideal age that you have to get married at.
Yeah, but then I saved many years. Like, I was a good student, started studying early, very early. Jumped second and third class, means double promotion. In second grade, I got topped in school, so they put me in third grade. And then that's why when I was 11, every notebook I used to write Indira Khurana in the first page and last name Dr. Indira Khurana. Every copy, every book. Once my teacher saw it, she said, what do you think you are? That's how I see you. I said, that's what I am. I don't know. In every notebook, whether it's Hindi, English, science, whatever, Indira Khurana in the first, where you write your names on the books and copies, last page, Dr. Indira Khurana, from grade 8, which I was 11 years old. And when I came in BSc, I qualified 3 years, I completed in 2 years. Masters, I completed in 2 years instead of 3. PhD, when they challenged me that, they took me only, they waited so long that, okay, I want to be there. So they gave me scholarship. And my professor said, okay, it takes 6 years, this, especially this field, nobody. I said, okay. 3.5 years, I put my thesis on his table. And then he says, we can't give you a degree that soon because everybody will think, you're a girl, we helped you. And although they didn't help me, but
You outpaced.
I was on the dot. 8 o'clock I'll go, and 8 o'clock at night. People used to, they watch, like, okay, Indira is leaving, it must be 8 o'clock now. So that's how I was. And even like Sunday, even Eid ka chutti mein, like even if it's Eid or it's Diwali, any day, like I used to be 4 years in a row, I didn't see one evening. No movies, no nothing. And one day I remember, I used to go to department every day, whether it's Sunday, anything. And I'll come only in the evening. If I was late, my parents didn't care that she'll be in the library, no worries. One day, it was Eid, and then even canteen in university was closed, everything. I'll go in my lab, I'll do my work. And one day I thought, I came home at 5 o'clock, I was bored. As soon as I open the gate, I enter, and my mom says, what's wrong with you? What happened? My brother, what happened today? I said, I just came home early, that's all it is. If I come from 8 to 9, nobody cares, okay, she's late, she'll come back, no problem. I said, I just came home early to have a cup of tea with you guys, So that was my reputation.
So like you said, since childhood you had this dream of being a doctor. But how was it rooted? What led you to think that you will either be a doctor or you're going to be...
Okay, that is another good question. As I said, my dad was in army, so always, they have those titles. Somebody's a major, colonel, or they'll be called as this person with the last name, So, and then my brother, my oldest brother, ever since he was 10 years old, he went to the Scenic school and he became an officer and he came home. So he was called like either lieutenant or captain or, So anybody, even my cousins and all, they have a title to go with their name. So when you walk with them, you get, they get salutes, and that fascinated me. Like, okay, you need to have a title with your name, And then that time they were not accepting girls in army in my teenage years. And only time you could go in army was also fascinated me. And you could go in army and have a title means you have to be a doctor. Lady doctors in army, they wear uniform and they have stars they get, and they're called doctors. So that was me, that I want to see myself. I couldn't go into army directly, on the border and stuff, but serving my country, serving people is my passion. So that comes from that. If I go in army, I could go either in army hospital, if I'm a doctor, and I'll be called a doctor.
So from a dream of serving your own country to now being a CEO in another country.
Yeah, that is now how it became. So when I came here, they didn't offer me anything. Everybody says Canada is a land of opportunities, but I had to provide to Canada, actually. I should say that they didn't provide me, I got my own scholarship, but they didn't accept. I mean, there was no university. Although many professors, they met me in Chicago in an international conference and they know me from internationally. And every time they told me, whenever you come here, come and join our group. So I went to join their group, but they don't even have that high level research laboratories. And like Canada is, they're good in sciences, but not particular, which NASA does. It's not like NASA kind of any lab here which can accommodate me. So I had to start something. So my younger sister came to study here. She came for 2 years on some business accounting she came to do, which is totally out of my field. She used to go to school here. I started helping her. And she was going to quit. She said she cannot study, like it's difficult. So I said, okay, don't quit. I used to study her accounting book and I used to teach her. And she got highest marks and she went back to India. She didn't stay here. And after that, I had something. I went back to US as a Clarkson University. But then Canadian government told me if I want to keep my status, I have to start doing my taxes here. So I came here and took one apartment here and rented a little room just to do the test marketing if I can do something. So I bought a little laser machine, rented a room, and I didn't know how to advertise and I didn't have much money either. What I used to do, this is funny. Every day, I used to write my services with hand on a paper, and I used to go to Staples, and for $3, they used to make 100 copies. So every day I'll make 100 copies, and every day my goal used to distribute those 100 flyers every day with my own hands just to get one customer in. So I'll walk around, in the laundry room here and there in the apartment, or I'll go to the park, and my target was like I have to finish 100 flyers every day so that tomorrow I can get one or two customers. So I used to do that, distribute it, and every day I used to started getting some clients. With that, I paid the rent. I used to rent a little space there. And people started liking my service, and very little service I started with. And then after that, when my sister went back and then I had to do my taxes here, I started doing it. And slowly I started building up there, and I started custom designing some treatments because of my physics. The machine I got, was very basic. It could only do this much. It can't do dark skin. So I started studying parameters and I changed all the parameters. So all the machines which I have almost have changed all the parameters. Even the manufacturers, they write they cannot do this and that, and I do everything what they say I cannot do. So I started doing that. Slowly I started building up. So every day, $3 advertisement, 100 flyers with hand, and I used to answer my own phone. And that's how I started my business. And now I have two, and I'm planning to have some more.
And how did you end up developing a team for your business?
Initially, me starting answering my own phone, got a customer, had a diary to make my appointments. I didn't have computer even. And I didn't know if I'll be staying here or go back to US if I don't get anything. And slowly then, because I had to do taxes here, so I started building up that. And then I realized that when you're working for somebody, I can't go looking for a job. I always had my own scholarship, did my own work. Like even though I was in university teaching and stuff, it's my own scholarship, my own money I take the salary from. So I didn't know how to be dependent on somebody, asking somebody. Even after my MSc, I never asked money from my father. I promised him I'll get scholarship. I got scholarship. Till today, I've never taken anything from anybody. Whatever I have, my business, my house, my car, whatever is, I can proudly say it's all my hard work. That's another good question. Because my treatments are all custom designed. For example, I do high intensity laser is one thing, which does all the skin conditions. Mainly when you say I do laser, means people think it's a hair removal kind of. I don't do that. I mean, I can do hair removal. That's machine is equipped to do that, but that's not my specialization. What I specialize in, especially dark skin. Dark skin is you touch the machine, like any light it'll burn. So I do even burnt scars and stuff. So I have custom designed, means I don't penetrate light on the surface, So with the wavelength, I've designed, I've changed the cooling time into it, I've changed the pulse width, I've changed the pulse delay and all that, because a little bit of physics now comes in, which others cannot do. So even like many engineers or any other doctors who have the same machine, they refuse people because they cannot do this, because that's how the manual says. But I do everything outside manual. So I do all dark skin. So we treat migraines. Then I purchase another machine, which is low intensity laser, which does all the pain and everything. So my clinic, because other clinics only do cosmetic stuff. So I do cosmetic, but cosmetic is more dermatological conditions I treat. So I can treat eczema, I can treat fungus, I can treat vitiligo, which people have white spots and stuff. So I have ultraviolet light, especially for that, different light. So I treat with ultraviolet, which is put the pigmentation back, and with the red light and infrared and other lasers, I treat other skin conditions. Then we do infrared reaches up to muscle layer, and other laser reaches up to bone level. So there are a combination of 3 lights I custom design because of my PhD in physics. So I can do this. And another thing is, when I came here, I still wanted to be a doctor. So I did write my MCAT here to be a doctor. And I was also selected to go to McMaster University to do medicine again. And that was 3-4 years, plus the residency that would have taken me 6 years, and specialization another 10 years. So somebody suggested me, you're already a doctor. Most of the doctors are doing cosmetic work now. So why do you want to go there? I was like, my passion to be a doctor still made me write MCAT here. Like I wrote that exam. Then I realized that McMaster doesn't take MCAT. They don't need it, but I still wrote it for other universities. They take mature students who can study on their own. And I went there, and I could have been a doctor again here. But now I'm doctor of integrative medicine. I do alternative medicine, means energy medicine, everything with energy, which is laser energy, which I can say, see, laser is not a machine. LASER is the abbreviation. L stands for light, A amplification, stimulation, radiation, emission and radiation. So that is LASER. So laser, some people say, do you do laser? Okay. Before, like people used to ask me, do you do laser? And I didn't know they're asking for hair removal only. Laser means.
Okay.
So it took me a long time to understand what they mean by laser. So when they come to me, I make them understand. I educate them too. Laser is not a machine. Laser is a light. L stands for light, amplification, How we transfer the light into the skin, that makes a difference. So my treatments make a difference how I transfer the light. If I transfer it all on the skin, on the surface, it can burn, dark skin. But I ignore the top layer and it transfers to the deepest layer. So I treat everything from deep inside, and skin top layer clears up on its own, because this is the reflection of what we have inside. So I target the root cause problem. So I still, treat patients as patients. When they come to me, it's not like I go through their history, I go through their, I educate them about their skin, educate them about their nutrition. So, and I know psychology as well. So I talk to them and I heal them inside out, actually.
Those are quite a lot of fields that you have worked in, I would say. It was really nice talking to you today at Parvasi TV. And that was it for our today's interaction with Dr. Indira Khurana. See you again in the next interaction.